Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. This is One on One. The hashtag is One on One. I'm hanging out with my main guy here on One every Friday, DJ Crossfade, or Mugo. I call him Mugo. I've refused to call him DJ Crossfade. Well, tonight we are very honored to be hosting in studio Sanaipei Tande, or Sana, if you like. She's going to be, of course, talking to us about life, career, her new hit, and what have you. The hashtag is One on One, or you can tweet her on @Sanaipei_T. Sana, over to you.
Bila hata kujali au kuuliza maswali, niliamini maneno ni kwa heri. Miezi kadhaa nami nalia, nimerudia, lakini na tatizo mtamwelezaje eti bila yeye naugua? Mtamwilishaje kuwa roho yangu yaumia? Mtamwambiaje kuwa mimi najuta kukosana naye, kutengana naye, kuachana naye? Oh, mimi najuta kukosana naye, kutengana naye, kuachana naye. Oh, mimi najuta.
Nah, how are you?
Alive and kicking.
Yeah, awkward silence over there. But we're seated now. How are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
Is One on One. Talk to us on Twitter. Talk to Sana on Twitter. Sana, we remember you from the Coca-Cola Popstars.
Indeed.
That is when Kenya and East Africa, and indeed the world, was introduced to this young lady. Tell us about those days. How far you've come.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, let's take note that I was 19 when I got into the industry. Very young, very naive, so much I didn't know that I know now. When I look back and I'm just like, I could have handled a lot of things differently. But musically, definitely, I've definitely grown. I feel like now I'm more comfortable when it comes to expressing what it is I'd like to talk about. Not like back in the day when you're thinking, okay, what will the fans really want me to say? As opposed to me being true to myself and sharing with them what it is that I actually want them to know. So I think that's one of the major changes in my life. Back then it was, what do they want to hear? What do they want to see? Who do they want me to be? And then today it's just, I'm just doing me.
You're just doing you.
Yeah.
So whatever happened to Kevin and, I mean, whatever happened to the rest of the guys, okay, that's just digressing. Not that it really matters, but...
Wow. Wow.
No, seriously, this is about you. This is about you.
No. Well, in a nutshell, or, you know, in short, you know, when we started off, we were never really friends. We were just three different people from different backgrounds brought together to form a group. And so you find that when we had the split, then we never really kept in touch. Everyone just went their separate ways, and that's just that.
And then there was Letta Wimbo, which was such a hit. Do you feel that this particular reality show, the Coca-Cola Popstars, catapulted you in any way to your career, to your music career?
Absolutely. I think it would have been a lot harder, and this is something that you hear from a lot of upcoming artists. They tell you it's so difficult to get their music out there, to get you know, radio presenters, TV presenters to actually play their songs, DJs. You kind of have to have a name, and I'm really sorry to say that. And that's why you find a lot of upcoming artists will say, let me do a collaboration with a big artist. That's the only way to catapult myself into the limelight. For us, that big artist was the Coca-Cola Popstars platform. We can't lie, we came in with a bang. We were on TV, we were on radio, we were in the papers. And of course, partly it's to do with the talent and the music, but then there's also this team that's behind you that's making sure that you are always in people's faces. Yeah. So Coca-Cola Popstars, definitely they handled that. Yeah.
So I want to talk about your hit, Sana. Everything you do is a club banger from Najuta. Anula, my favorite. I met Sana and I was just telling her, oh my gosh.
You couldn't stop singing. I was like, is this Chile serious?
Yeah,
Can we finish?
I mean, that song just drives me nuts.
Thank you.
So, but there's a lull in between when it is that you record.
Yes.
What's that about?
I think what happened, because a lot of the times people ask me, why is it that you're not at the top of your game? And I think this has to do a lot with the breakup with Sema, because here we are, we have everything handed to us. You know, you're in the TV, you're on the radio, you're in the papers, you're in the magazines, everyone wants you for an interview, and then the split. And now when the split happened, I was left solo, standing by myself. I didn't know how to go about a lot of things, because once that happened, then Coca-Cola pulled out, and you find that our managers at the time then also had nothing to work with. And so that kind of set me back a bit. And then because of being the pop star, then opportunities started knocking. You find radio stations calling you for a job, you find modeling jobs, and then I kind of got into very many other things in my life. And now I'm stuck doing those things. So I don't give the music the 100% attention. And that's why you find I'll release a song, then I'll do the video. Then, I mean, between Mfalme wa Mapenzi video and Anula Who, it's been 9 months. So
yeah, and let's talk about Mfalme wa Mapenzi, Sana. Woo! The sizzling video that got everybody talking. First of all, you were looking so hot in that video.
Thank you.
Yeah, great shape. Clearly you've been training your legs, you've been doing leg days at the gym.
Oh my goodness.
So, how did you react to that reaction and to Kenyans just sort of going like, whoa, Sana, this is too steamy?
You know,
did you think it was an overreaction on the part of Kenyans? Did you think it was out of order?
I have to be very careful with this, because I don't want my fans to think that I don't take them seriously, or I don't respect their criticism. But you find that, like, if you look at the two videos, okay? Mfalme wa Mapenzi comes out, and it's doing 10,000 views a night, okay? And you have people there complaining and saying, oh, she had to take off her clothes to remain relevant, which, by the way, I did not do. I did not take off my... It's the illusion. Create the illusion. There's no way in hell I'm going to be in a room with 3 guys shooting a video, and I'm there, you know, stark naked. It's not going to happen, not for me. So you find them complaining about that, oh, she took off her clothes to remain relevant, she had to show us her legs, she's sexualized herself, okay? So, that's Mfalme wa Mapenzi. I'm the one to blame for that. Here's Anula Who, where I have done things relevant to the lyrics and the song, yet it is moving slower than I could ever imagine. So who's the one with the problem? You watched it, you liked the legs, but you're criticizing me. And then now I release something else and you're just like, oh, it doesn't have oomph. What do you want?
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
It never really is that serious.
So for me, my defense to that is just, not even my defense, my explanation. When I do a song, I listen to what it is I'm saying. How do I project what I'm saying visually? So it's not like if I did Mfalme wa Mapenzi, you would expect me to be sitting outside a gate in Doni with stones throwing at matatus. It just doesn't make sense.
Calm down.
No, but all I'm saying is I follow what my lyrics say.
Yeah.
Anula Who, I acted it out. Plain and simple. Yeah.
And for those that loved it, they loved it. For those that didn't like it, the conservatives, I suppose.
Which is okay, because at the end of the day, everyone is, you know, entitled to their own opinion, and I'm not mad at that.
And you speak very, very good, very fluent Swahili. Sana, tell us about your background, because your Swahili is very coastal, like almost like you actually grew up there.
But I did.
You did?
Born and raised. Lived 16 years in Mombasa. I think I also attribute the balance in languages to my cousins in Mombasa. My mom was born and raised in Mombasa. My dad is from Nairobi. So I have access to these cousins in Mombasa who live in the, you know, the mitanis and what, and they're Swahili. Sometimes they talk and I don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
Me who speaks the kind of Swahili that I do. So I have that balance for having grown up in Mombasa and interacted with my cousins, and then moving to Nairobi, my cousins here who went to, you know, all the really posh schools and stuff. So there's kind of, you strike a balance.
Yeah.
When you're here, you interact differently. When you're there, you interact differently. Other than the fact that I had also a very good Swahili teacher who used to pinch us if you don't remember the word and its meaning. Yeah.
Okay, so the radio. Let's talk about radio. You were at KISS. You left. Was that a painful decision for you? Did you leave?
Resigning from KISS was 2 years in the making. Because here you are. This is your first, well, not first serious job. I had the music, and then that 6 months down the line was, it just died. So I really didn't have time to experience what I could be and what I could gain out of music. So KISS, I can say, was the first true job that I stayed in for a really long time. The reason I quit, and I'm not afraid of saying it, it wasn't worth, what I was getting paid wasn't worth the time, because I'd do Monday to Friday, 10 to 3, that's 5 hours solo, and then you've got Saturday, 12 to 3, and you're leaving with peanuts, because I would pay my rent. Then again, I really wanted to move out at that time. I'd pay my rent and I'd pay my car loan, and I'm on a negative. And it's not much where I started off. And I'm just like, this doesn't make sense for me to commit 3/4 of my day here and leave with nothing.
Yeah, but clearly you were doing something, right? Because almost immediately you transitioned to Nation.
Actually, what happened was, when I resigned from KISS, I did not have a plan B whatsoever. I was literally getting ready to pack my stuff and go back to my parents' house. And then, because I also used to do entertainment news for the stations, and this one time, Farid got to hear my voice, and he's just like, why doesn't she do entertainment for like every station in this country? And so he offered me a job. So I still work with him as well, for a show called Mashariki Mix, and then I got a job now for Super Sport as well. And then Nation came on board. So Nation actually took, because I resigned in 2012, and I started Nation 2014. 2014?
Yeah.
2013.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, it was actually direct. Oh my God. Okay. I need to keep tabs on myself.
So Anula, your latest hit, tell us about the inspiration behind that song. It sounds like you're really mad at somebody. And maybe I'm mad at somebody too, because I'm not mad. I mean, every woman is mad at some guy at some point. Tell us about the inspiration behind Anula. Is it a real story? Is this a personal story?
A part of it is personal. Actually, I'll be honest with you. Every song I've written, part of it is personal. But this one actually came from a story that my mom shared with me about our mothers and our grandmothers back in the day. You would find that they start from scratch with their husbands. They have nothing, and they build together. But the minute the guy gets a little extra money, he doesn't know who you are, okay? He disappears. In fact, how many of these grandfathers and great-grandfathers have you had married in another town? And then when ish hits the fan, they come back to their wives. So that's what this song is about. We started together, we scratched the ground together. The little that we had, we shared. And then the day you get a raise or you get a promotion, now you don't know who I am, and now all the little girls are starting to look at you. And then it gets to a point, because, once you're at the top, there's only one way to go down. And so, just things happen. And because she hooked up with you because of the money, when the money is gone, she's gone too. So who do you remember? The real woman who was there supporting you through everything. So then you come back. So in this song, there's a dilemma. I know the first time you did it was a mistake. If you do it to me the second time, that's disrespect. Clean, plain. So the dilemma is, do I give you that second chance to find out whether you're going to do it again, or do I just move on with my life?
So Sana, going forward as we wind up, of course, what are your plans for the future? What are people expecting to hear or see from Sana? Looking at the industry, of course, saturated right now, but not a lot of people who can actually get you, like just bumping off to a song, and like blowing up your stereo in the car. So what are we expecting from Sana? We want more hits. We want more sing-alongs. You'll get the songs, they're definitely there. Like I said, the one thing I've realized about myself is that I can actually write. Back then there was no faith in myself that I could write. And then again, because we're splitting the writing, you'd find Kevin writing this and I writing this and Pam writing that. But then now I am more confident in my writing, and there are a lot of songs because I'm not afraid to talk about what it is that I feel and what message I want to pass out there. So the songs are there. Music is not easy, and especially when you have more than 3 other things that you're doing, it kind of can take a toll. So I am going to promise that the hits are going to come. I just cannot promise in what frequency or on what frequency, So
it might take me a while, but the music is there. It gets better every time. And this is me sharing personal stories with people.
Okay.
Part personal. Before people start saying something.
What's been the downside of course, Sana in the limelight and just, of course, still trying to do other things away from, entertainment and music and what have you? What's been the downside to all this attention on you?
Downside, let me just say, downside when it comes to my music career is, of course, the delay in releases because of the challenges, these financial challenges. And it's funny because upcoming artists tell you, Sanaipei, you cannot have financial challenges. It's just on a different degree, but it's there. And finding people that you can actually work with, producers, video guys. Then there's also not getting to perform enough, and that's a story for another day. I mean, we've heard of very many female artists who complain about promoter wants to give you a show, but he wants to smile with you behind closed doors, and you're like, I'm not going to do that. Or you will find somebody who wants to call you for a show, but they'll tell you, see, you give me 20%. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're being paid as a promoter to get me. You still want me to give you my money when I go on stage. And I think a lot of the artists have learned to just work like that, but I'm just not going to do it. Okay. So I think by the time you see me on stage, it is because I'm working with real, genuine people who believe in the art and believe in whatever it is they're trying to sell. Other challenges?
Well, okay, let's talk about the happy. Let's talk about the happy stuff now. So any collabos you're working on? You collaborated with Joe Kali back in the day.
Yes.
Anybody that you're planning to work with?
There are talks. Actually, I don't think I should disclose that. We're still discussing. I don't want to say something and then it doesn't materialize, because I think the only time you can discuss something is when you've already set a release date. The music is done, it's been produced and everything. So I don't think I want to touch on anyone that I might be collaborating with. But if you ask me who I would like to collaborate
who would you like to? Actually, I think you and Jaguar could do something really steamy.
Me and Jaguar?
Music-wise. Really, don't say anything wrong, he's watching.
Oh, no. It's not even about that. It's just, look, I will look at musicians and appreciate their music. I mean, I listen to the likes of Akina G-Con, Visita, those guys, and there's one song, love it, absolutely creative.
Me too.
But just because I like your jam does not necessarily mean that we can collaborate, because we're on two different genres, we're on two different, I don't want to say levels, but it's just two different directions of music. So I may appreciate your song. I mean, Jaguar's Kyo for me is just, it's epic, okay? But it doesn't necessarily mean that we can actually sit together and have a collaboration.
Okay, well said. So this is Sanaipei, feisty. And all the guys in studio, by the way, are like, you are stunning. I will not drop a name, but somebody earlier just told me, whoa, from the days of Coca-Cola pop stars, Sana, she's been my, ultimate. That's what he said. So I'm just passing.
What?
Yeah, I'm just passing ultimate crush. I'm just passing the message.
All right, no, for a second there, I thought I heard you say I'm married. I'm like, oh, married to whom? Who am I married to? I'm not aware.
Well, thank you so much. So we're closing with Anula. Thanks for coming through. The hashtag is #1on1. You can talk to her on Twitter at Sanaipei_T, right? Yeah, and get to interact with her for more on her career and what it is that you want to know about Sanaipei. Thank you so much for your time, Sanaipei.
Don't say thank you.
And now I'm just going to be at the back somewhere, being the full total groupie.
Alikuwa yuanipenda hapo zamani alipokuwa hana, na kile tulichopata ingawa haba tulikigawanya. Akapandishwa cheo, maendeleo akaanza kunikana, akapata ndogo na mimi akanipa kisogo. Ikawa kwangu makelele kwake starehe, kwangu matusi kwake mazuri. Nashangaa leo yuomba msamaha, yuanibembeleza, yuanitendekeza, yuaninyenyekea mimi. Nami sitasubutu kumruhusu aniruhusu tena. Anula, 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 hasadu, hasadu. Nilipola gundua nikamuonya awachane naye. punguani akanivalia mimi wani, lakini mambo kenda mrama, bibi akaanza kutanga. Leo yuwashika tamaa, huku yuwaniandama, ikawa kwake makelele, kwangu starehe, kwake matusi, kwangu mazuri. Nashangaa leo yuomba msamaha, yuwaniembeleza, yuwanitendekeza, yuwaninyenyekea mimi, nami sitosubutu, husu wanihusu tena. Anula